Hello, and welcome to Strategy Stories from the Real World, a series where we look at how leaders from everyday organizations make tough and thoughtful strategic decisions. My name is Erica Olson, and I'll be your host today. Welcome back to our series, my favorite series, focused on big, bold visions. In our question and answer format, we'll ask different leaders how they accelerate their impact and just get behind the curtain a little bit and see how decisions are made and see the courage that people are bringing to leading big, bold visions. Today's guest is our own Dana Searcy. Dana hails from our county, Washoe County, which is where Reno is located, where we all live, the team at On Strategy. Dana is heading up the Housing and Homelessness Services Division for Washoe. And just a little spoiler alert for our listeners, Dana and I have been working together for maybe more than 5 years, less than 10. We started working together as she was heading up the strategic planning process for the county. So we've been partnering on that for many years. And that led to an emerging need of needing to really dig into and solve one of our county's most significant issues, and quite frankly, the growing crisis in our nation, helping people who are experiencing homelessness find solutions. So she's heading up that division right now. And we're super excited to share Dana's insights and how she's shaping the future for our community every day. Dana, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Erica.
This particular conversation is a community vision, which is super interesting. And so just when we talk about big, bold visions, Dana is our spokesperson and our champion in our community related to addressing the issues of people experiencing homelessness. But knowing that it's a community-wide vision, describe, Dana, what's the county's vision for addressing this issue?
Yeah, as you said, Erica, this really is a community-wide effort. So it is a lot more about just working on a county division or a team. You know, we are leading the community to build a system that's capable of housing people, and that makes experiencing homelessness rare, brief, and non-reoccurring. And as is in the case of many communities nowadays, the need is there for this bold action. We are focusing on 6 different areas in this focus. The first one is centralized and shared client data. This is critical. All data for individuals experiencing homelessness will be shared across organizations to improve program outcomes. Also, unified regional outreach. We will consistently work as a coordinated regional team to ensure that all individuals are reached and data is shared. We know that we're greater as working together than single individual organizations. Another area of focus is our housing clients faster. Through coordination of these efforts and sharing data, we're able to connect our partners with those people experiencing homelessness to make sure that we are effectively matching up all who need support and all of the available support in our region. This makes the process a lot more efficient. Also, sheltering the unsheltered. We know that by using a housing first approach, we can ensure that our region has available emergency shelter and temporary housing for everyone in need. This requires education also, as housing first does not mean housing only. The model really depends on robust wraparound services and case management to maximize housing stability and prevent returns into homelessness. Fifth area is accessible care for all, and the county really is prioritizing this, and we're supporting our partners as well, expanding that staffing so that anyone who needs to work with a case manager has access to one. And finally, a regional approach to affordable housing. We're working closely with our partner jurisdictions in the area to expand and fund sustainable, affordable housing options. The work is really complex and we can't do it alone. So as we've been saying, this is a community effort, and a lot of our time is spent educating and strengthening those stakeholders in our community to enable this vision.
Amazing. And, I just have to say, having been on the formation journey with you and with the county, so much work and so much clarity has been brought to really how to address this issue. And again, counties and city governments are our social sector that really creates the our communities and how we live and experience, our community well-being. It's so important and so critical. And I wonder, Dana, this issue of homelessness is kind of controversial in terms of how to solve it, right? It's not simple, as we're all well aware. And I wonder, share a little bit about how you brought your team along, or quite frankly, the partners to buy into this vision.
Yeah, it's really inclusion, honestly. People usually want to be part of something if you let them be. And we happen to be in the business of helping people with, which is not a hard sell at all, but you got to be willing to let the team members help and the partners help and be part of the conversation. You also have to make time for team development, developing trust, developing understanding. Everyone is busy. We always have an excuse, but this is really critical to the success of the team. We set aside a day a few times over this past year, and we're going to continue to do this to work on strategy, team development, and just generally having fun getting to know each other. Then we carry those lessons and our momentum from that day into our everyday work. During our initial session, we developed a set of norms for our team, and it's been effective for us. We all know the expectations, and we hold each other accountable to those expectations. Buy-in also happens through communication, and I know this is something that we all hear about and talk about, but everyone really needs to know exactly where we are going and how we're going to get there. Setbacks, sidesteps, detours, all these things really do catch people off guard if you don't get in front of them and talk about them. And it's important to be honest about successes and challenges. We have to be able to get vulnerable with our team and showing that things aren't always going as planned, but together we can work through them. We can learn lessons. And I believe that really does help to build trust, which leads to buy-in. One of the norms that we developed as part of our culture is to take care of each other. No exceptions and no excuses. This comes in the form of maybe having somebody's back, or listening to a new idea, or being flexible with work schedules. I've found that buy-in is usually earned, and a lot of times through showing staff that they're important and that their needs are important.
And the work is hard, right, Dana? The work is not easy.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not.
And I love that norm of just taking care of each other, because, I think it's important where we sit here today to just reflect on the effort that Dana and your team that you've started is kind of a startup. Actually, it's a new effort for the county, for Washoe County, as with many counties, quite frankly. And this occurred, over a global pandemic, a labor shortage, dramatic crises, and then this significant need to really address this emerging crisis that the county really took on, again with full effort and force, I would say. So kind of in that context, tell us, where are you on that journey? It's a big journey. Where are you against that vision of success?
Yeah, well, it is a big journey, and we are at the very beginning. We've only just begun, but we're making a lot of progress. There's a lot to be celebrated in such a short amount of time, and we're looking forward to these initial building blocks being put in place so that we can start to continue and progress the work. We have successfully transitioned homeless services from the city of Reno to Washoe County. And this was an idea that started a few years ago and has become reality, which for those in local government, you can appreciate the speed at which this is occurring. Washoe County has supported funding for staff, 44 staff, and services to enhance homeless services and ensure that accessible care is there for everyone, while we freed up capacity for the cities to focus on affordable housing, which we know is also a critical component to this work. The work has started to solidify. Many times when we are starting up a new program or team, things may ebb and flow and, quite frankly, be a little bit cloudy. I think now we have a clear understanding of where we're going and what it's going to take to get there. The next step for us is to expand this understanding beyond our team and our immediate partners to include all stakeholders in our community. And we have data. This is so exciting for us. Data that wasn't collected or used efficiently in the past is becoming centralized and shared across the community. It's difficult to solve a problem that you can't see. And so having this complete set of data and baselines established is really going to help guide our work, help us make decisions, and we'll be able to show outcomes that are standardized across all the programs in our region.
I love that because, data is so important to have mile markers along the journey, particularly this journey. It's really a big one. And just again, that vision of success is that people experiencing homelessness, it will be brief, rare, and non-recurring. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. And, it's not that we'll solve homelessness 100%, right? That's not the vision because that's not realistic. And as I understand it, the data is going to be so important to try to tell the story that we're making a difference. And I would just share some examples with us. Again, you've been working on this for 2 years now under your current team. Give us some ideas about the successes that you've celebrated and just some examples that you'd like to shout out.
Absolutely. One of our greatest highlights, honestly, has been our Safe Camp program. During our journey, we were asked to create a safe camping location, which is a pretty new concept in our nation. We agreed, provided that we could build the program with appropriate staffing ratios and use successful models and strategies such as housing first and trauma-informed care, really building a different type of program than we had previously in our region. Our program's been open about a year this month, and we are seeing amazing results. Honestly, we've been able to show that we can build programs that lead to successful housing outcomes, and we're seeing that people are staying housed, which has created a lot of buy-in for our work. Another milestone is the Housing and Homeless Services team, moving everything over to the county and developing staff, hiring and training 44 staff over the past 12 months is no small feat. The other day, I walked by our training room and saw a group of staff brainstorming together with partners to solve a problem. It was a pretty rewarding moment for me because I know that we've brought this amazing team together and they're going to be able to work on beyond what we are initially building, but they've been given the tools and the culture created for creation and for collaboration. And the vision of this team really is to act as this central resource in our community where you can share data and come for help or training, and it's happening. And so we are celebrating that. And another important highlight is the support for our regional strategy and vision. I cannot express enough the value of the support from our board and our community leadership. We have built this trust not only through transparency and communication, but also through hearing concerns and needs from the community and including them in that work. I look forward to bringing back metrics and outcomes, and that will keep the support strong, and we'll continue to develop this vision as the needs of the community develop.
And I just always think, especially with this kind of work, those celebrating those successes and publishing that data as it's not easy to pull that together either. We know it's just really going to keep everybody focused on that big, bold vision that you have, and that progress is being made, which I think is just great. So that's awesome. And, things don't always go right. So, let's dig a little deeper if we can and get just a little vulnerable for a second. Maybe share some of the detours that you've experienced and how you got back on track.
Yeah, detours are part of the journey, right? And in many cases, they add quite a lot of spice to life. Our most significant detour has honestly been the Nevada Cares campus. Completing an effort years in the making. We've worked this past year to seamlessly transition homeless services in our community from the city of Reno over to Washoe County, which is to enhance the work and focus our vision. Through that transition came the request for the county to also operate and develop the Nevada Cares campus. The region worked hard during the COVID pandemic because we needed a place that was large enough to safely socially distance individuals needing shelter. The City of Reno, City of Sparks, and Washoe County purchased about 15 acres of land, and Reno led the construction of a 46,000 square foot front sprung structure with capacity for 604 people. It's a very large facility. The county agreed, and we have spent most of our time over the last 9 months setting up policies and procedures, transitioning contracts. In addition to that, the work has been focused on construction design for the rest of the campus. You know, City of Reno really brought us through the pandemic and got us started with the initial backbone of this campus. And we have taken that forward to how do we bring the services and facilities needed to support this many people in our community. You can imagine the complexity of doing major construction on a 24-hour facility housing over 600 vulnerable people. That said, the campus is an absolutely worthwhile project for our community, and one that I think a lot of us are proud of. It's taken time away, though, from that regional work and our vision, and we've had to balance that. We're working through it together, one step at a time, and we're starting to feel that initial weight from this massive effort of transition of this campus and construction lift a little bit. And you know, even though we've had detours, we're working through them and being honest, again, and transparent with the community and our electeds about the challenges and the needs. And now we're actually finding that as we turn back towards that regional work and dedicate more time towards that, we've been pleasantly surprised that those initial seeds that were planted prior to the CARES Campus detour have continued to grow a little bit. And we've been able to provide enough support along the way to look back and see progress there too. So we'll be able to pick that up and continue to move forward. And now we'll have a campus alongside this work to really support the effort.
You know, and I think that example of a detour is really illustrative of a community-led effort coming together in a collaborative manner, and really what it takes to move a lot of things forward that maybe weren't exactly on the county's roadmap, but certainly sort of globally on the community's roadmap. And then, you know, needing to move left to move right. It's just that's what it takes. So one final question. Our listeners love practical tips and takeaways. So how about share with us a gem, a nugget of wisdom, or a tip about leading a big, bold vision and leading and championing a big, bold vision on behalf of our community, on behalf of the community?
Well, I guess if I could share two simple ones. Be bold and say yes, honestly. You never know where that's going to lead you. And know your strengths and what you bring to the table and be comfortable with that. Many people find it hard to believe that I had no previous experience in the human service field. And it would have been far easier for me to just take a pass and look for the next special project to come our way. From fear, from not previously working in the field. But through applying my specific strengths, which leans towards developing strategy and being a systems thinker with those who have a social work background and bring a different skill set to the table, we've been able to be very successful. And we're beginning to see that we've created something strong and special. And we're seeing those efforts pay off through increased housing outcomes for our neighbors and improved efficiency for our community's resources. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to lead this team, and I'm humbled by the support that we have for this team and our vision that we've created together. It's been quite a challenge, but you've got to just jump in and go for it.
I love that. I love that. Be bold and say yes. I just want to say on behalf of our entire communities across this country, and for those people that are experiencing homelessness, thank you so much. To you and to your team and to everybody that is working so hard on this issue, because it's such an important issue to solve. So thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for being on our show. And I so look forward to working together in the future for many, many years.
Well, thank you for having us, and thank you for highlighting the work.
Thanks, Dana, again, so much for sharing your wisdom today. As always, thank you all for watching and tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We drop new videos every week that you won't want to miss. Happy strategizing. Hey, everybody. Erica from On Strategy here. We just heard from Dana on how she's using her vision every day. Here are the 4 ways that you can use your vision in everyday activities. Number 1, celebrate success often. We can't say that enough. Success breeds success. Number 2, use your vision to guide your decision-making. Ultimately, your path towards your future state is a series of decisions, daily, weekly, monthly, and your vision keeps you focused. Number 3, communicate impact and where you are towards that impact that you seek and you hope to achieve. And number 4, last but certainly not least, be bold. It's a vision after all. And say yes. You never know where yes will take you. These 4 ideas came from Dana during her interview from our show, Strategy Stories from the Real World. Dana is a special project manager for our own Washoe County, and she's currently leading and heading up the charge to address our country and our county's most significant challenge, helping people experiencing homelessness. There you have it. Thanks for tuning in. If you like our content, please subscribe. We drop videos every week. Happy strategizing.